On today's episode, we're going to cover a few different travel sites for booking flights and see how the design choices they've made affect the user experience of using the websites. Hey everybody, what's up? Ron here. And last week I did a design review of a bag website and you guys seem to like it and find it useful. So today I want to cover a few different travel websites that I personally use when booking flights and kind of think about how I would do things or review how I think about the choices they've made. Again, the disclaimer here is that I know that each one of those websites were probably worked on by a team of very talented designers. I have no insights to what were their limitations or what were their goals, and I don't really know what works or what doesn't work. So if I give feedback on something, it might be a great idea for them to do it. I'm just giving the feedback from my perspective as somebody who both uses those websites and as a designer who might think how I would approach one of these challenges in hopes that it might be helpful for you when you are thinking about a challenge that might be similar to this. So let's dive into it. I'll be covering three websites that I personally use. The first one is Expedia, second one is Kayak, and the third one is Skyscanner. So let's start with the first one. And before we dive into design, let's think about the context. So in the context of booking travel, which those websites are built to do, you might have few different scenarios. One of them, and I'm thinking about only the obvious ones and the ones that I experience myself. So one of them is that you know where you want to go and when you want to go, right? So you have a specific date and you have a destination. You're going to look for the best deal or the best flight for that specific case. The second scenario is where things are a little bit more vague. Maybe you're considering a vacation or something. And in that case, dates might be a little bit flexible. You can go one day before, one day later. Destination, also you're open for exploration to find what would be the most interesting destination at a good price, probably. Now, there are other cases like business travel, but I don't think I'll cover them just because I think that usually people who do business travel don't use these specific websites, which I think are oriented for more of a consumer global audience. And for business travel, there are different websites that cover specific business needs. So I'll cover those two areas, which are more like specific finding of, those would be kind of like, I don't know, jobs to be done. Like this is the persona or the scenario in which a user might come to these websites. So either fixed flight and dates, and the second one is a little bit more exploration type. So let's just cover, first of all, I think that the hero section on all of them is one of the most important things because that's what you see first. So on Expedia, besides like the huge navigation bar that says, okay, we can do other things, but flights like hotels, bundles, cars, all these other travel related things, they're by default, note that I've logged into, I just came from Google to Expedia.com. By default, they're trying to bundle me. So I came here for a flight, but they're trying to give me a flight and hotel as well. So, and sometimes I just want to say that I don't notice this. So I'm coming here to look for a flight. They're kind of like without me paying attention to trying to bundle in the hotel. Obviously, they're kind of upselling, trying to sell me more services. To me, that might be a little bit annoying because that's not what I wanted, but I understand that from a design perspective, upselling might be something that generates more revenue to them because they're selling more services. So for me, I would now go into flights just because I want to compare the flight situation. But you can see here that they're very much promoting that they can help you out with many more things besides flights. Now, overall, I think if we're comparing this which is Expedia, to this, which is Kayak, and all of them are featuring obviously the search at the top and this one Skyscraper, then you can see if you just look at Expedia versus Kayak that Kayak feels much more simplified. Even though here at the top they also tell you that they can help with hotels, cars, and everything, even the navigation bar. Compare this simple navigation bar compared to these two lines navigation bar, and the amount of buttons and components that you have here, when considering here, this is very, very much more simplified, which I like because this is a little bit overwhelming. So many questions just looking at this for, just starting out. Now, one more thing that I think Kayak did right is that obviously they know where I'm situated at the moment. This is pretty easy to do based on IP and where I'm browsing this website from. So they know that I'm based in Tel Aviv, and they've put this down as a default, which is very, very helpful. Here, I have to tell them where I'm coming from, and they wouldn't even put as a default where I'm located right now and where I'm flying to. So, and again, they're really trying to push the Ed Hotel head card, the upsell options, very, very hard. So I would say Expedia feels much more hard sale than this Kayak, which is, this basically, we didn't talk about the point of the website. So obviously Expedia is a website that literally sells you the flights, where Kayak is an aggregator of flights. So they might show you the results from hundreds of travel sites at once. They might actually sell you Expedia tickets. But I'm just talking about the design of the interface. This one feels much more clean and simple. So my initial gut feeling is to get started here. Comparing to the Skyscraper is, I would say, somewhere in between. Navigation-wise, it's very, very simplified. It just tells you flights, hotels, and car rental. And the component for search is obviously a little bit more expanded, or at least feels a little bit more complicated than the Kayak one. But then again, more simplified, just because it's basically one line with a few checkbox, versus here, you have one row of checkboxes, then another one, then third, fourth, fifth. So again, this is, I would say, somewhere in the middle. Now, before I'm going to go into the searching and results of this, let me just scroll down a little bit. So just the feeling of being in Expedia and getting all these banners, all of these things, again, very much feeling like hard sale. Like this is very, very hard sale website, just trying to sell to me lots of ads. And to me, that, again, might be performing very well, because maybe the user persona that they're aiming for is somebody who's very focused on finding deals. So promoting these things like get $50 or save 5%, maybe that works really well for their audience. To me, it feels a little bit overwhelming. And then when I'm searching here, this feels a lot more like branded in a way, this kind of like an inspirational travel website, like top destination. It really helps me to kind of inspire me where I want to go. Now, I want to talk about this component here, which I think is wonderful. Explore the world, prices from Tel Aviv. This is, as I've said before, there are multiple cases, and in the case where I'm not sure where I want to go, I think that this component is wonderful. It just tells me, and I can do explore all here, it will open up an interface that just tells me, if I choose to go on a certain date, how much that would cost me. And just, looking at the map here, it really helps me to see. And I think this has something a little bit romantic in this. You see the world and you can just click a place and see how much, very, very visual and easy to see how much it would cost me to go to certain parts of the world. And I really, really love this website for, exploring, having this interface here for how long are you willing to fly and what's your budget. Really, really makes it easy to explore. On the second use case, which is more open to finding new places. I want to go on vacation, but I'm not sure where or how much it would cost me. They're even bucketing it here into how much it would cost to do a romantic escape or to go to a specific beach, amazing beaches. So I think this is really, really an incredible interface for exploration. Skyscanner also have this. So Skyscanner has a different approach that makes me scroll very putting here some kind of a component here that kind of looks like a timeline and makes you want to scroll down and discover what else is here. So they're starting out with a personalized recommendation from, they know, again, that they know that I'm from Tel Aviv, so they would give me some recommendation. By the way, I don't know why there are recommendations from me, since I'm not logged in. I don't know how they would personalize them to me, but they do also have this map, which is still undecided. Explore Our Map basically opens up this map, which is pretty similar. It's a little bit more simplified, right? You don't have this budget and flight time. You don't have these suggestions, but it's pretty much doing the same thing. I would say that Kayak is kind of the winner here of this exploration interface, because it just looks great, gives me a lot of ideas, and it really helps me to make a decision. This one is a little bit more based on just price. Let me go back. So again, I think this is a wonderful help with this undecided use case, which, by the way, Expedia does not touch upon at all. So I just want to show you how they deal with it. And keep scrolling here about the timeline idea with always deals. So I think that Skyscanner did a good job in trying to get me to scroll and give me some values depending on what I look for. So am I looking for something that is relevant to me? Is it based on the fact that I'm not sure where I want to go, or is it based on the fact that I wanted just a good deal? Let's see how Kayak handles the scroll. So here you can see the Explore even before you scroll. So this is very much on the top. The second thing is top destination. So again, this is related to people who are not sure and might want to be inspired. And best deals in May. So this is also kind of like more focus on, price concern. Then they're signing you up for travel news and stuff like that. And then this is just quick searches, I guess, which is also nice. Now, one more thing, when I'm trying to do the search, so let's start a search here, right? So here I have to type in that I'm flying from Tel Aviv, Israel. And where am I flying to? Let's say I want to fly to London. And obviously they're all using the autocomplete component, which makes sense. Let's just imagine that I'll go in June for like a week or something like that. So that was the basic search before I added search. Now, I want to show you something interesting here. So here, if I click to, before I even started typing, they're also showing me this use case, which is can't decide where to go, explore your option with anywhere search. If I click this, this would turn this into an anywhere, and I can still select my dates. And let's see how that looks like if I do this. So they just basically open up again the Explore maps based on my dates. And here, if I would in Skyscanner, if I would do that, they would actually do the same thing. They would say can't decide where to go, do the everywhere search. Let's see how that one looks like if I do this. Let's say I'm going for a week, search. Now here, notice something else happened. They did not take me into the Explore map. This time they showed me the list on a list that's really, instead of a map, they're just showing me this as a list, which is just focused on the price. Now, I think this is useful. This is really easy to scan as an idea. Hey, maybe I want to go to Greece. Maybe I want to go to Poland. It's a little bit less romantic when you see the map. It's really nice, to see the map. But I think it's very functional. So let's go back into actually searching for that, let's say, London trip. So London, I like that they're bringing in a little bit of image here to inspire you. Oh, I'm going to London. That's exciting. They don't do that here when I'm choosing London, or if I'll choose London here. So again, I really like how Kayak is kind of like putting you in the mood for travel. So let's do the search. So this one is searching here. This one is searching here. And here they're offering you to do a comparison between other websites, so I can compare versus Expedia or other ones. Let's not compare anyone here. And let's do the search here as well. So now we're getting into the search results page, which obviously in a travel website is pretty important. So let's see how they show this to me. Right, so let me share with you how I'm usually, what my experience is like. And obviously, if you're doing kind of a design project, you would do a research to find out what people are looking for. But in my case, when I'm getting a list of results, and usually when you're searching for flight to get a long list of results, you want to know how they're being filtered. So right now I got a list of, a list of flights here. Basically, it's pretty hard to even see the company name, but I just see hours. Okay, so I see hours of flights. Let me see, and this is on Expedia. Let's see how Kayak shows this to you. First of all, they're trying to make you sign up for an email to know when the prices from Tel Aviv to London change, which is very smart because they want to get you on their list. They want to keep emailing you and following you up. This is pretty smart. Let me close this. So here, what I have the list here. Obviously, I have some kind of a promotion that is sponsored at the top. But what I really like here, that the first thing that they're actually showing me is how they're sorting out the answer. So by default, they're just showing me the best flight, which is, 5 hours, and this is the price. They can even show me the cheapest flight, which is $200, but then it's 14 hours. Or what is the quickest flight? It's 17 minutes less, but then again, it's $1,000. So this is a simple flight, so it's not a huge difference. But on a very complicated flight, that might be a very, very important decision to make, how you want to sort them. And they have even other sorts here, earliest takeoff. So this is really, really nice, and I think important to sort out when you have so many answers, a list of answers. It's really important to understand how you're sorting them out. Now here, by the way, if you look closely, they'll tell you that they're sorting it based on price, and they have price, duration, departure, arrival, but they don't have something like Kayak has, which is just best, which I guess they're calculating them based on duration, price, and number of stops. So they're basically calculating all these factors into best flight, which is nice. It's more of, they're taking off my headache into trying to make the decision, what do I care most about? Price, duration, departure, and all those things. Let's see how Skyscanner does that. So Skyscanner also have this kind of pretty much very similar to Kayak. They have this, how do we filter? But then again, before, they even have a travel tip, and they tell you that if you depart a day later, you might save $57. I think this is really, really great because, as I said in the beginning, a lot of times you know where you want to go. You even know the general dates, but you might have, you might be flexible. You can go a day before and a day later. And sometimes there's no real easy interface to see what those days look like. So you might, do multiple searches. So what if I go a day before? Or what if I go a day later? Actually, here, this is something that I didn't see before when I did the search, or I forgot to mention. On Kayak, when you're actually doing the search, they are giving you this kind of interface where they put the dates in colors and try to help you understand which days are cheaper versus expensive, so that you can pick the dates which are more relevant to you. So this is another way to solve the problem, which I just told you, where I'm not really sure about which days, and I might be flexible a day here, a day there, and I want to get the best deal. They don't do this here on Skyscanner or on Expedia. I think Kayak does that really, really well. But I do like this travel tip that even if I forgot to do this, here's a tip that you can change those around. Last thing that I want to talk about is, let's say that this flight is interesting to me and I want to see really how the details of this flight. So I'll click this and I'll get more details about this, and I'll be able to just make the booking. But now note, I did not actually change a page. This is kind of like a pop-up that I can close here. So I'm in the same page, but it feels like I went on a different page, which for me is scary a little bit, just because I like to explore a lot of the options. So and note what happens when you're in Kayak. If I click a detail, it just opens it up. right? It opens it up. I can explore it. I can decide, okay, let me see how that flight looks like. So this is much less, I would say, scary because you're not leaving the context. So when you are in the context of exploration, learning more a little bit, you might not, and you might want to do this process multiple times when you are, hey, let me learn more about this option or this option. I'm probably going to do this multiple times. So taking me out of context, feeling like I moved into a different page, feels kind of scary to me. So again, even though it's not really a different page, it feels like, oh, where am I right now? I have to click the back button. So it feels like you're on a different page. Now you need to go back. And I feel this is a little bit more seamless where you can click, go. Now in Expedia, I click, nothing actually happens. You can click here on the detail and baggage fee, and that would give you more or less the same interaction like Kayak, but I feel like it's annoying that I can't just click here on the big card. I have to click on this specific link. Now, by the way, here I see that they do have this kind of good flight ranking, 7.2 out of 10. But so why can't you, rank them, sort them based on that good flight, which is what Kayak is calling best. Well, we can keep exploring the interfaces here forever, but I think this was a pretty quick overview about what are the things and experience that you think about. So things that we covered were what is the use case or who's the persona that's coming to the website and what is he struggling with, whether it is finding the cheapest flight, best deal, or finding out where do they even want to go, how to view and sort the options that you get once you have a list of options and alternatives, and how to make that seamless and scary and useful as possible. Based on the experience that I covered now, I would say that Kayak did the best job in simplifying the process, helping you solve as many problems as possible in terms of inspiration, in terms of finding the best days to fly, and also even exploring more in depth when you want to finalize the flight that you're going for. Hope that was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments below what you thought, if you've seen some things on those websites that I didn't cover, which works or don't work in your opinion. And if you have other kind of categories or reviews that you want to do, send me your ideas in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.